All right, Joe, we have more callers.
Okay.
The next caller is Sarah from Chicago. Sarah, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Good afternoon, Dr. Beam. Good afternoon, Kimberly.
That is a beautiful accent.
That's a Mississippi accent.
Thank you very much.
Where is the
Thank
accent
you.
from? Because it's not Chicago.
It's not. I'm from the UK originally,
Wonderful.
but I've lived here a long time.
Oh, it's beautiful. I just love hearing that.
Absolutely. How can we help you today, Sarah?
Well, I love yours. Well, the short story is my husband left me a year ago, and he left me for, I'm sorry, it's still quite emotional.
It's okay. It's okay. You just take your time. We're on your side, Sarah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. He left me for a woman he was madly in love with. That lasted until, I think, May, and he has then since been in several other relationships where he's also been madly in love with the women, including one that's just started at the end of November. He filed for divorce immediately when he was with the first woman, but I found you in about April, and he and I started reconnecting through the summer and being intimate again. Unfortunately, he now lives in a state far in the south, so he's agreed to come to the Marriage Helper workshop with me. He even spoke to Johnny. He phoned Johnny and spoke to Johnny.
Good.
And he's agreed to come, but he'll only come once our divorce is final. He said he's enjoying being with these other women because they're making him feel loved. That he and I still talk. You know, once we do get on the phone, we chat and have a great connection. He sent me a beautiful Christmas present. He just says he wants to be with people who make him feel loved, and I guess I stopped making him feel loved.
Well,
and that's it. So my question,
yes.
I forgot that.
Okay.
So the question is there any point coming to the workshop? Because what will happen is we'll come, and I'm sure we'll have a wonderful 3 days together, but he'll then return to his new home in the south, and I will come back to Chicago. So, and that's it. We do have a child who's in her 20s. She's a junior in college. So we do still have that connection. And so that's my story.
Okay.
And that's my question.
A couple of questions, if I may. Okay. First of all, let me respond before I ask the questions. You are correct. It is possible that after the workshop, he'll go back to where he lives and you go back to where you live, and it's possible. That is not statistically how it typically works out for us. You see, we can't guarantee you that it'll help you solve your problems, but 3 out of 4 times it does. 3 out of 4 times since we started that back in 1999, which is pretty good odds. And what happens in those 3 days has to do with learning a lot about yourself. It has to do with learning a lot about relationships in general. It has to do a lot about learning about why we're motivated to do some of the things that we do, those kinds of things. And do I think that it's worthwhile and valuable that you come? Yeah, I really think it is. Because if whatever these other people are doing somehow evokes emotions within him where he feels loved, and yet he thinks or feels that what you do doesn't evoke those same emotions, it's very possible, very, very possible they're doing those 3 days. We actually can help you, and as a byproduct, him, figure out why. Why is that happening and what's going on? Sometimes the light just goes off. It's like, now I understand. Even though you might have talked about it 100 times between you, the fact that being in that environment with those people in that situation where we're doing that kind of education, often people get these very, very strong ahas. And so do I think it's worthwhile? Absolutely. Can I guarantee it'll work? No, because we're always going to tell you the truth, so I can't guarantee it. But I'd say the odds are really good. Now, the question I have is, if you won't come until the divorce is final, do you feel comfortable and confident that if the divorce is final, that he would still come now that you've given up your leverage?
No, I do not. And the reason I don't is that I think one of the women that he was with, she ended their relationship and it ended very badly. And her revenge was to send me all of their emails and texts, including ones about the workshop. And she sent me a note saying, he's never going to come with you. He's just said, she was lying. Of course, I'll come with you. So I don't have any leverage. That's the problem.
Okay. Well, then you might want to consider that you say, okay, but I'm not going to sign the divorce papers until the Monday after the workshop. I'll sign it. I'll give you my word, but you can bring them with you if you wish. And I'll sign them the day after, but I'm not going to sign them until actually you do come to the workshop. And if pressed, you could even say, and I don't know that I would do this unless I were pressed, but you could even say, you know, that woman sent me these things and she claims that you're manipulating me, etc. I don't want to believe her. I want to believe you, but understand that for my own safety, for my own security, for my own sense of well-being, I just need to know that you're really going to come. And so if you do, bring the divorce papers with you and I'll sign them the day after if that's what you want. Believe it or not, Sarah, we have a ton of couples that come with that exact same scenario. I'll sign the divorce papers after the workshop if you come to the workshop, not before, but after. We even had a situation.
I suggested it. He seems to think I'll be very angry after the workshop because it will have, brought up issues.
Nah.
It will have brought up issues that evoke anger in me, which I'm not a particularly angry person, and you've taught me a great deal, I have to say, about the strength of silence, actually.
Good.
Good. So I'm not an angry person, but he's concerned that if we go and at the end of it, he just gives me the divorce papers to sign, I'm just going to be angry and bitter, and I'm going to take him for everything, which I won't do, because it's pointless.
Well, so. I do hope that whatever happens in the divorce, that if the divorce happens, and I hope and pray it doesn't, that you have protected yourself legally. I mean, I hope
I have.
Okay, that's good. That's excellent. Did I remember that you said that he'd already talked to Johnny, or did I imagine that?
He did talk. He did. He phoned Johnny. I spoke to Johnny, and Johnny said, well, he may call me if he likes. So Johnny, and I've actually done some coaching with David as well, who was wonderful.
David is awesome.
And he was amazing, I have to say.
Yes.
I wish he was my father. He was so lovely. Johnny was also very helpful, and my husband spoke with Johnny, and they discussed the workshop. And at that point, my husband said he would come to the workshop. So
good. Well, you're not going to be angry.
He seemed proactive.
Good. Excellent.
No, I won't be angry.
No, you won't. The workshop. And Johnny probably told him this, but the workshop is educational. You see, in counseling situations, people often, the marriage counselor will let them bring up this and bring up that and bring up this and bring up that. And people get really mad because they start talking about all these issues of things you've done and et cetera. We don't do that in our workshop. As a matter of fact, one thing, and you can assure your husband of this, you can say, Dr. Beam promised me this in front of a whole bunch of people on Facebook, that we do not do anything. We do not do anything that brings up all those old things where people start hashing out their problems and getting mad at each other. And so you do what you think is best, Sarah, but I strongly suggest that you just say, look, you're asking me to trust you, and I'm asking you to trust me. And even if I were to get angry, which Dr. Beam tells me it's not going to happen, but even if I were to get angry, I'd sign it anyway. And so this is, I think you don't want to give up your leverage, but it's your opinion, it's your life. You decide what you do. But if it were I'd probably try to hang on to that leverage.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Sarah.